What's going on, guys? This is Moonchild, a Dude No Way, and today we're breaking down the Fallen race and everything you need to know about them. If you're new to Destiny 2, the sheer number of enemies can get overwhelming fast, so in this video I'm gonna break down what each Fallen is, what they do, and where to shoot them to get that sexy yellow crit damage. To kick things off, we're gonna start with Shanks. These are the most basic enemy in the Fallen ranks. Like cannon fodder, you'll typically see these in groups and they don't have a crit spot, so you can stop looking for it. The Shanks weapon is a simple arc energy blast that doesn't deal a lot of damage. The more of these there are alive, the more dangerous the situation can get, but they're weak as hell and usually die in 1 or 2 shots. Occasionally you'll see these guys with a solar shield, and to break it nice and easy, just use a solar weapon. Now that we've got that covered, let's go over the other types of Shanks you'll see in game. Explosive Shanks are pretty common, and their sole mission in life is to run into your face and blow up. These have a distinct sound cue, and if you hear that noise getting louder, it's time to clench your butthole. Back away from them as best you can to create distance, and then shoot them with your primary to set off the whole group. You want to be as far away as possible so you don't go up in smoke with them. Tracer Shanks are up next, and when you see these, they've usually got a yellow health bar. The wire rifle they have on their head acts like a sniper, and this thing hurts a lot when you get hit by it, so prioritize killing these as fast as possible. Heavy Shanks are the final variation, and remember when I said Shanks don't have a crit spot? Well, I lied. Sort of. These are the only ones that have it, and to get those yellow numbers, you want to pump their stupid looking visor full of lead. The big boys are almost always going to show up with a solar shield. You know what to do when you see it, and the void turrets they have as weapons will melt you pretty quick, so make sure you're playing close to cover. Dregs are up next, and these are the second weakest Fallen enemy you're going to run into. More often than not, you can take them out with a simple bullet between the eyes. That being said, the weapons you're going to see in their hands varies from Dreg to Dreg. For the most part, they're going to be rocking a wimpy shock pistol. That doesn't deal a lot of damage, but just like the Shanks, they become more dangerous in higher numbers. Every now and then you're going to see one with a yellow health bar, and that's the homie you really need to worry about. Yellow bar Dregs use a shrapnel launcher that acts like a shotgun, and if they get close to you, this thing's gonna tear that ass to pieces. The AI knows to rush you when you're low health, so they have no problems walking right into your face to confirm the kill. Eliminate them as fast as possible to maximize your chance of success. Dregs also have a shock grenade ability, and this is probably the most annoying thing they do. When you're standing behind cover, they're gonna land that sparky stick right next to you, and when it blows up, it's gonna keep your health from regenerating. As you might imagine, that gets old pretty fast. You can shoot the grenade before they detonate though, so make sure you clear them out when you see them. Alright, we're gonna take a second to let our minds reset here, cause that was a fuckload of information. You still with me? Perfect. Let's get back to it and talk about Vandals. Vandals are the mid-tier enemy for the Fallen, and these things are gonna piss you off. They can have red or yellow health bars, their crit spot is the face, and in the wild you'll see them with 2 different types of guns. The first is the wire rifle, and it's pretty straightforward. Basically, these are just Tracer Shanks with legs. They fire the arc sniper, and whether it's in the hands of a Vandal or floating through the sky on a Roomba, the wire rifle still hurts like that one injury that never fully healed. If you shoot these guys in the face before they do the same to you, you're gonna be just fine. The second Vandalist weapon you're gonna see in game is the shock rifle, and this is the gun that's gonna make you lose your mind. When they charge it up, it fires 3 homing sperm needles that fly through the sky and hunt you down. The tracking on these is absolutely ridiculous, and it'll curve around corners and follow you over pieces of cover. That can be a pain when you're trying to regenerate health, so as these guys come up, make sure you thin the herd so you're not getting destroyed. Marauders are also part of the Vandal family tree, and they've got more of an in-your-face attitude. Just like the yellow bar Dregs, they use the shrapnel launcher for a weapon, and let's not forget, this thing f***ing hurts. If you let them close the gap, you're gonna get turned into Swiss cheese, so keep your distance. Their special ability is going invisible, and as soon as they see you, they're gonna disappear faster than that time Dad went out for a pack of smokes. When you see a Marauder, put a bullet in its head, cause if you don't, it's gonna catch you slipping, and then all of a sudden you're gonna be looking at your ghost. The Wretch is the final variation of Vandal, and these peasant Fallen have a pointy stick and they're not afraid to use it. That deals arc damage when it hits you, and they'll rush you in groups and try to skewer you alive. But on the plus side, they don't have a lot of hit points, which makes them easy to put down. Now that we got these skinny pricks out of the way, let's talk about Meatballs. The Fallen Servitors make the ether this race needs to breathe. That's not really an ability, I just thought it was cool, and something you might want to know too. It's common to see these things with void shields, so grab a void weapon and shoot them right in the bullseye. And speaking of, the middle of the bullseye is the crit spot. The game can be pretty unforgiving about how close you need to be, so do your best to aim dead center. These fire void bolts that don't necessarily hit that hard but can damage you around corners. As far as special abilities go, Servitors can make other enemies immune, which is a tactic I call the please kill me first. You can say they're protecting their group, but really they just have a death wish, so give them what they're asking for and put a slug right in their donut hole. Now we're covering captains, and these are basically just Vandals who hit the juice a little too hard. You're gonna find these guys with an arc shield, so arc them back and you're gonna break it lickety-split. These typically have the largest health pools and deal the most damage of all the fallen, but on the plus side, they got a big ass noggin and that makes it easy to crit. Aside from having raisinets in their pants, their other special ability is being able to teleport around the map. They're surprisingly nimble for a big dude, and if you're not paying attention, there's a good chance they'll sneak up behind you and put you to sleep. Captains can use any of the fallen weapons we've covered so far, but theirs is bigger, meaner, and by proxy, possibly from Texas. They'll stomp you away if you get close, so the best way to fight them is to stick by a piece of cover and peek in and out while you chip their life away. So the Fallen have vehicles, right? And just like the Fallen themselves, they range in size from big to small. The weakest of these is the Pike, which is basically just a motorcycle with a Nerf gun on the front. You're gonna see these piloted by Dregs who think they're hot shit, and the bike itself has no crit spot, so aim for the driver. You can shoot them right off the seat and steal their ride Grand Theft Auto style. The Pike functions a lot like your Sparrow, but with a couple extra bells and whistles. You can press the fire button to pew-pew things with arc damage, aim down sights to get a boost of speed, or if you want to have the time of your life, you can use it like God intended and run things the hell over. In my opinion, that's the only real reason to get on one of these. The gun doesn't deal that much damage, and you can go fast on your own. Spider tanks are the medium-sized mechanical Fallen, and with as big as they are, you'd think they'd be harder to kill. It's got a pretty good sized list of moves, but only a few are actually going to take you out. Like a wild Karen at the grocery store, the tank is meant to be more oppressive than it is dangerous. Mounted to the top is a missile launcher attachment, and if you get into view, it's going to pepper you with arc damage. This is annoying, but as long as you're close to cover, you'll survive no problem. If you see a red line aiming your way, it's time to crap your pants because the tank's big cannon is about to turn you into a fine pink mist. You've got a few seconds to react, and before it fires, the tank is going to squat down like a dog in the backyard. When you see that, get the hell out of there or it's good game. As long as you're paying attention, it's pretty hard to get killed by this, but it's definitely a weapon whose lethality you need to respect. If you get courageous and go up into melee range, the tank has a stomp mechanic, so, don't. Just stay back and tell the tank that's a nice leg he's got there. Be a shame if something were to happen to it. So what you gotta do is pick one leg, shoot it relentlessly for crit damage, and eventually it'll blow right off. Instead of going into a defensive position, the Fallen, being the marvels of engineering they are, programmed it to show you its brain. I think by now you know what to do, and you've got about 10 seconds to pummel it before the tank stands back up. At that point, you'll have to pick another leg and repeat the process. Brigs are the final piece of the Fallen army, and this wannabe Gundam is the biggest, toughest enemy they've got. I call him the Brig Daddy, and they've got a bunch of different moves you need to watch out for. Just like the Spider tank, the face of the mech is mounted with a missile launcher that fires arc volleys. When you see Brig Daddy start to hunker down, it's going to shoot you in the face with its right arm, which is a pretty powerful void cannon. That can wreck your shit if you're not careful, and it gets a lot more dangerous as the light levels go up. They've got a missile launcher for a backpack, and the red circles on the ground are where they're going to land. These are highly dangerous, so counter the whole ability by moving gently to the side. The deadliest attack in the Brig arsenal is the shoulder-mounted solar cannon, and you can tell it's about to happen because it'll squat down and turn on its butthole jets. For the next 30 seconds or so, it sits in the sky, hitting you with solar explosions that leave burning patches on the floor. To avoid getting your face melted, just take a lap till its feet hit the ground. As long as you keep running, it shouldn't deal enough damage to kill you. Every now and then you're going to turn into burnt toast, but it happens, so don't worry about it too much. To kill a Brig, you need to expose the crit spot, which is hidden behind an armor plating in the upper body. If you can, try to use a rocket launcher or some other weapon that deals damage without crits. Once it gets to around half health, the top flies off like Janet at the Super Bowl and you're free to pulverize its weak, puny bird chest. Thanks for watching. I am Moonchild of Dude No Way, and I will see you in the next video.